Hello. Hello.
Going to be fun. Hi.
It's going to be great. My name is Alexander Castillo.
My name is Yana.
Yeah, you don't have to say your last name.
I'm not going to.
No. I felt weird saying my last name just now, too.
Maybe you shouldn't have then.
No,
yeah,
I'm
but
not
your
going
last
to.
name is pretty cool. It
Yeah?
has meaning.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
Well, it's your family name, right?
Whoa, not even like it translates to something else. It
No,
just...
fuck translations. It's my name means a lot to me.
Whoa.
Like my name is a name that my mom took from my dad when she got married.
Uh-huh.
And then she divorced his ass and everything. And then there's like this whole part of the family that I don't know anything about, right?
Uh-huh.
There's this like mystery about me. Like I have this name and I don't know where it comes from. And then my second last name is my husband's name and I know everything about that name and I hate it. But I took it because I respect my husband.
Mm.
And I didn't leave my maiden name behind because I respect this mysterious part of my family. And my mom decided to keep the name also after she got divorced because it meant something to her. So it's like your name means a lot.
Yeah.
Even when you don't know what it actually means as a word.
That's interesting. I've always thought about how I associate my name with, like, my background. Not, like, culturally, but, like, yeah, like, with my family, you know? And I've always been, like... I've kind of thought about, like, not changing my name, but, like, what that would, like, mean. Like, if my name were to be, like, changed, or, like, if, like, oh, like... Because you always watch movies and it was like, you're not, like, turns out you're like, they switched you in the hospital and you're like the spy baby, whatever. That's some plot movie. And I've always thought about, like, what if I was like somebody else? Like, would that change me? Like, how would I feel differently? Like, this is just what runs through my mind, like, before I go to sleep.
That's so
I have something to
interesting
dream
that
about.
you think about changing your name in terms of, like, because you're a man, right? So, like, your name never changes.
Because I'm a man.
Yeah, because you're a man, and the tradition is that the man keeps the name, and then the woman takes the man's name. Even though it's not as common in many cultures, like, but I think in my culture, you have to legally change all your documents with your new name.
Wow.
Right? So, like, when I got married, my documents now say that I am married.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to change them, and I couldn't travel for a long time because it was in process of being changed and whatever. And so, like, for me, changing name, it doesn't mean anything. It's just like there's the next stage of your life or some shit like that. But for you as a man, it's not something that you have to think about. Like, am I going to keep my name, or am I going to keep my wife's name, or are we going to somehow join it together?
Yeah.
For you, changing name just means, like, completely different life. And I think that's super interesting. Because, like, for me, my name is a big deal, and I told you the reasons for why I have so many weird names. But like, to me, it's just, like, really next stage of my life, and I have to make this decision. And then when I divorce my husband, I can always keep my own name, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for you, it's just like, no, it has to be some, like, complete change of identity.
No, well, I wasn't saying it would completely change my identity, but it's like it feels like it would change. Like, would I feel changed? Like, I would run myself through thought experiments. Like if I had, like, if my name was different, like, I thought, like, I remember one time I was in elementary school, and they're like, you look like a Carl. Like, I was, like, some fat kid in elementary school, and someone's like, you look like a Carl, and I was like, well, how would I feel if my name was Carl instead of Alex?
You know, I thought about changing my name, my
name.
first name, for a long time. I actually, until I was 18 and actually able to change my name, because my mom's name is also Yana. And she was a teacher at the school I went to, and it was just horrible. I felt like my name does not reflect who I am, because I always associated my name
with your mom.
With my mom. And then when I was 18, I was like, this is it. I'm going to pay the money, and I'm going to not have this damn name anymore. Mm-hmm. My name's going to be Veronica. And
Veronica.
I actually hate the name right now. But then I thought about it, and I was like, do I really want to commit to this new thing? Mm-hmm. How am I going to explain this to my friends? Like, my name actually means a whole lot more than just my mom.
Yeah.
It's meaning of things is crazy, man, and how you construct it and how you understand it yourself at a given moment is just it's mind-blowing. No?
I have two things to say. One, a real quick one, is with the changing names. Nope, lost it. I'll go with the second one. Sometimes there's a thing I do that I'm gonna give an analogy first, so I think you can get yourself in the mindset where, you know, like, you ever, like, look at a painting, right? And, like, you look at, like, the details, like your area of focus of like what your consciousness is actually absorbing is like it narrows down, right? But then like you ever like zoom out and try to look at the painting or picture as a whole, right? Like how does it feel as a whole? I've been doing this thing recently where like I'm walking down the street and I try to like zoom out of like my consciousness field of like focus, and it feels like things like look way more beautiful that way. Like I try to imagine
if you zoom out.
If I zoom out, if I consciously like when I look at like you, like I just see your face, but if I were to zoom out like and pay attention to like the microphone right in front of me, the ceiling and the walls and the thing, it feels like I was like, oh, this is like a story, this is like a chapter of my life, and like, you know, like it feels like a lot more quaint, you know.
Oh, that's interesting because I have been doing the opposite. I started doing that when I first time went to visit Rome, and Rome is super beautiful. Like no matter how you look at it, right? Everything is so big and beautiful and famous, and it's in every freaking history and art book. It's Rome. Like that's what it is, right?
Yeah.
And all the roads go there. But when I was walking there, I started focusing on the like super minute details of things. And it made me happy. Like I felt so lost in Rome.
But in a good way.
I don't know. Like I felt like I know all these things about history because I was a history major, and I know all these things about art because that was my thing in high school, and I felt super overwhelmed. I knew that I was not going to be able to see everything and all the famous paintings and all the famous statues, and there's too many people on the stairs. How do I take picture in front of this fucking fountain that's like surrounded by crowds and crowds of tourists? And then I like found a crack in the street that looked like a tree branch, and I was like, whoa, this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. This is Rome for me now, all these little things. And I have a friend who was there with me, who lives there, and he started taking pictures of these things for me. And then we had this little competition of like, who can see Rome from the most weirdest perspective. And my perspective was these little things, and I liked it. Yeah. It's Rome for me now. Like I found new things in this city that has been explored so many times.
That's the thing. I went to Mexico City like 2 summers ago or something, and there's just something I don't like about being a tourist. Like I feel like because I have a feeling towards people who I can just immediately tell are tourists. Like it's like, you don't know what this place is. Like you're just looking at nothing right now. You're looking at like somebody's architecture thing, and that's it. You don't know the feeling of this place or whatever, you know. But so like, when I went to Mexico City, like, and we went to like all of like the stops, right? Like we visited all the things, and I was like I'm just like another sheep in this tourist machine. Like I want to at least like crawl inside of a space, and it's like I bet only like a decent fraction of the people that like tour this place like go here. And I did this thing where like I plucked a hair out and I like left it in like some like corridor, and it's like, yeah, I own this place. My DNA in a way will last like a year or two in this place.
The thing about tourists is like I come from the Czech Republic, and so like the only place that everybody ever knows about my country is Prague is beautiful, man.
I want you to also know, out of pure honesty, I learned that Prague was in Czech like yesterday.
That's fine. But it's beautiful, right? Like it's this this is the phrase, like yeah, of course it is. But people come to Prague and they go these places, right? Like they go to see the beautiful things that they read about in a book, but Prague is fucking large, you know. Like it's small compared to cities here, but it's big in terms of the diversity of things that you can find at a small area. So
you can move it if you want, if you need to move it closer.
You would like go to the city center and see the Gothic and Baroque things, but you would miss all the things that happened like after the Second World War, when we built all these concrete ugly things to accommodate all the workers, and all these statues that were supposed to depict like the power of the communist leadership. And it's just it's painful, but it's also painful that people pretend like it's not there even though they walk around it. on their way to see the cathedral. And I kind of wish that the tour guides would incorporate that. And when I'm in Prague, I focus on these things because that's to me like a very recent, painful history that's kind of being lost. And I'm afraid that if we pretend
history.
like it's not there, it's going to come again.
Yeah, that's like what every history teacher in high school tells you of why you need to know it. And it's like, listen, if you don't know it, it repeats itself. That's the phrase. Now memorize the states or whatever.
I think that the problem with it was, like, I told you I was a history major when I was in college in Czech, and I had a lot of friends who were also history majors who knew the same things that I knew and grew up in the same time that I did with the same sort of parents, right?
Okay.
And they started the new Communist Party, and they were like, we are going to do this. So like their knowledge of history actually prompted their yearning
like,
for repeating it. Because they
damn, it didn't work.
Because every kid that is 20 thinks that is like, yeah, but they did it wrong and we are going to do it right. And we're not going to be building these ugly ass concrete statues that have Stalin's face on it. We are like totally going to live in peace. Everything's going to be great. But you cannot live in peace and everything is going to be great in a system that is surrounded by other systems that do not support it. Like there's always going to have to be this stupid border protection, nation state like mentality, and you have to always be incorporated within the world politics. Like not everybody can be Switzerland, and Switzerland can only be Switzerland because they have always been that.
They started early. They're like, guys, we got to hop on this train if we're going to do this. If we're going to do it, we're going to do it right.
And then they've been criticized for doing it right. Like, so you can't really go right with this.
But I mean, how strong is the criticism for Switzerland? I haven't really felt much criticism.
As a person who protested the globalization when she was 16 and got hit with a brick in the head while waving Antifa flag. A brick. A brick from the street.
Brick. Damn.
Yeah.
Wait, globalization like a bank, or like what do you mean globalization?
So there's this summit that happens every year, and it's where the world powers and whatever they summit and they talk about who is going to get money and who is not going to get money. Like
the UN?
It's not the UN.
Okay, it's like them, but yeah, continue.
Anyway, so I am against it, right? Like I don't.
You protested when you were 16.
So my perspective on Switzerland is like, if you're not going to take a side, it's like if you were with the bad guys.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but they shot down like either fucking side that flew into their airspace. So they're just
because they were just protecting their own damn fucking airspace. But what would happen if like what happens? So okay, Switzerland is like small country,
small, tiny,
very tiny,
itty bitty, teeny weeny.
So if anything around Switzerland gets completely destroyed, Switzerland's going to go. Like it's not, you know, like if somebody wants to drop a bomb in fucking Austria, Switzerland's done.
This is I feel like somebody had this conversation and then decided to make the movie Black Panther. The Marvel movie. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Basically, in the movie, it's like, so, like, this comet of, like, vibranium, which is, like, this metal that can do, like, whatever, like, anything. It's, like, a MacGuffin sort of thing. Vibranium.
Still a family-friendly show.
What? Wow. Yeah, man. All right.
Okay.
Calm down. This, like, meteor, like, vibranium, which is, like, this, like, magic metal, right, like, crashes into, like, this part in Africa, and then, like these tribes in Africa were like, oh shit, we can like mine this metal and like do some crazy ass like technology stuff. And then like the world started to get like a bit more complicated, and they're like, hey guys, we're gonna like advance our technology and then like hide from the world and just pretend we're like just like a nothing tribe in Africa, right? And then so it's like, and then it's like present day, and they have like super advanced technology. It's basically magic, right? But they keep secret, right? And then the antagonist of the movie, the bad guy, he ends up, well, I'm about to ruin it, but it's a good movie. But the bad guy's saying like, how dare you let like our brothers and sisters out there get like murdered in the streets when we have the tools and the resources to help them? And they're like, no, we've always been this way. Like if we stop now, like we can't actually help everyone, right? So like their philosophy is like, if we can't help everyone, we're gonna help no one. The other guy's like, you have to help some people like us, but then he's also like, we're gonna go to war with the entire world. So like that's where he messes up, right? And then the good guy at first was with his like ancestors where it's like, no, you can't do that. His name, like the bad guy's name is literally Warmonger, right? It's like his nickname because he was like a military agent or whatever. And he was like, no, and then like in the final fight scene, I'll ruin it, whatever. Spoilers alert. I don't know, skip like a minute ahead. He good guy like realized that the bad guy was right. He was like,
of course.
Damn. And then, and it's like, whoa, as watching it.
Well,
so,
because if you think about why we have wars, right? It's usually about resources.
At first, it was, but I don't think it's about resources anymore.
It is. We have wars because we want more oil. Oil is a resource, right? Like
Okay,
we have
oil.
war because we have migrants from places where there's nothing because of fucking climate change. So like it's always about resources, right? People are fleeing certain parts of the world because there are just not enough resources. And by not enough resources, I don't mean like this tree is not giving me enough apples, but like access to clean water. With globalization, people know that there is water somewhere else, right? Like we have the knowledge of better life somewhere else, but then we're not allowed to go there.
Wait, is that what you're protesting, that the people shouldn't know that there's water?
So no. We were protesting just globalization in general, like the global conglomerates like McDonald's and shit like that coming into our places and ruining the face of our culture, right? Like fast food is not in our culture. We do not know how to control ourselves when we walk into a fast food restaurant where everything is extremely cheap. We don't see the exploitation of the workers, and we don't see the waste. We don't see the problems that come with monoculture when everything is made with corn and soy, and then we just grow corn and soy. What does it do to our climate? What does it do to our people? What does it like do to our just to our bodies? Like we protested GMOs being imported with Greenpeace, which are sometimes regarded as a terrorist organization in Europe. Like it's really difficult to like describe exactly what it is that you're protesting when you're protesting globalization, because people think globalization, everybody's going to be connected and work together, but that's not what is happening. That's not what we have been seeing.
It's the powerful.
For the past 20 years, right? Like we only see that globalization means that the superpower is going to get more powerful and exploit more people.
Yeah, it's a hidden motive. What is it?
Is it
like
really
a dog
hidden
whistle?
though at this point? Like.
And then there's like the whole political disinterest thing where people are like, I couldn't change it if I wanted to, and then they don't try to make any change.
I think civic engagement is always an issue in any society, right? Like,
do you think it's lower now?
I think people are excited about things. So like, let's take as an example people who are supporting Bernie Sanders. They are excited. They are going to turn up to vote, but then what? Then because
Bernie
these
Sanders.
Things always happen in like these weird waves of like, okay, now we're excited about this one person, but politics is not about one person. Politics is not about this old ass dude who yells.
It shouldn't
be. It isn't. It is. That's the problem. Like you say it shouldn't be, but that kind of implies that it is, but it isn't. It isn't. Politics is happening always, at all times, everywhere. Okay. And so we have to kind of be alert all the time, right? Like, how many times have you been to a city hall meeting about fucking city planning? Like, they're going to build a homeless shelter here, and go to the meeting, and like, how many times have you even heard about one?
There's this crosswalk I walk by sometimes, and it's like this old beaten up poster, and it's like civil announcement, and then like there's like the title of like what it is, and I look at it and I'm like, is this how they have to do it?
Yes.
And it's like, wow. All right, and I walk by.
So we have this beautiful thing that is completely broken in America, but it's democracy, right? And that's when people are supposed to have a say in what's happening, and that's why we have these rules of like having to have community meetings when there's something that the city is going to spend money on. People don't go to that shit. Only people who like live right next to it go, and then they are outraged and angry because all they see is their house and their yard.
Yeah.
Because they cannot do the thing that you do. They zoom out and see.
Oh, thank you.
And see the bigger picture, right? And they're always like, no, not in my backyard. I don't want this here. What about the children?
Not in my small town.
Yeah. Sheriff Alex.
But do you think You can say like you're not sure, but do you think it's lower currently, like in the past like 4 years or like since Trump's been elected or whatever?
I don't think
before?
so. And
You think it's
there's
the
like
same?
I don't have any like numbers to support this.
Of course
right?
not. This show is not about numbers.
I know, but it'd be nice if I had them.
It'd be great.
But I think,
It's about our feelings.
4 years is not enough to know if there is more or less of something that is
Okay.
connected to people's attitudes, right?
Okay.
Like in 4 years we can have a different attitude toward sugar because there is a huge campaign that tells us that sugar is awesome and now we all should eat it. But about engagement and things that people have to like do
Mm-hmm.
that they would normally do. Like you go to the supermarket and you can choose if you're going to buy a thing with or without sugar. But voting and being interested in politics takes a huge chunk of your time
Yeah.
that you would normally not dedicate to this particular thing. And so I think that it didn't change. I think it's just shits.
I would. Oh, the system.
No, I think that people's engagement is low, and it was low.
This is an argument I've heard. I'm gonna kind of repeat it, but I do like think I see it around the place where it's like with the rise in social media and like quick like dopamine, like you get like you swipe and like you see a meme or like a thing and you're like, that made me feel good, and then you keep swiping, and it's like if something doesn't immediately make you like engaged, it's like I feel like everyone's getting like some sort of like ADHD of like a like if I'm not immediately captured by something, like who in their right mind would go out of their way and read an article on a political candidate and then like continue reading after they're like, I'm not sure about this guy,
Me.
you it's because you're not from here.
When I hate something, I like to have good reasons for hating it. So there are two things that I researched.
Do people
actively.
count in that category?
Yes.
Okay.
Except for the people who I almost killed by the car today. Anyway, no, but I think that I have like these two things that I know a lot about, and those are things that I hate and things that I love. Because things that I love, I want to know everything about them,
That's
just by
true.
the virtue of them being awesome.
Mhm.
And then things that I hate, like I have to constantly convince myself that I am right for hating them.
I like that. I feel like I do that with myself sometimes where like I always give people like 6 months. I think I've told you this before. Like I was like I'll have I'll have to like be in a classmate with somebody or like a roommate or something. Like I always give it like 6 months of like, it's like, oh, this person's like seems to be pretty annoying, but I'm gonna wait and see, like maybe it's like a gimmick or like it's a like a thing, like maybe I'm just not getting like where they're coming from, like maybe because like other people seem to be fine with them, right? So like right now I think it's me. I'm gonna give it some time until like I fully get it. And after 6 months, if I'm like, no, I still don't like them, I'm like, all right, I don't like them, and then here's why, and then like, boom, suddenly all the reasons of why I don't like them just like come rush to the front. They're like, we've been waiting. Like subconsciously, like my research of like looking at them as they do small things, it's like I'll look at somebody, it's like, why did they do that? That makes no sense. You could have done that other thing. And then like,
oh my god, you're describing my mother-in-law. I never understand why she does anything. Why does she even exist? I've given her 8 years and I think I'm done now.
yeah, I hate them. That's one thing I do.
Yeah. No, I think that's really nice that you do that. I cannot not react. Like
Instantly?
I react instantly. And I look at you and I like you and we're going to be friends now, and then you do some stupid shit and we're going to not be friends, and then later we're just going to be friends again. And like it does take a long time for you to be like friends with somebody.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Alex is a good guy. Sometimes he fucks up, but like he's a good guy, right? But then I have the same like 6 month period of like being on and off with people. And then it's either yay or nay, but I do go through the roller coaster of like everything happening in those first few months.
Yeah, I always try to give
but I also feel like I don't have 6 months with people usually.
It's too long.
I travel a lot. Like I have lived in the States for 7 years now.
Nice.
And that's the longest I have lived at one place in the past, like since I was 18.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, I lived in a different city than where I grew up for 3 years. Then I moved through Italy for months,
I didn't know
and then
that.
I moved to the Netherlands for 6 years, and then I've been here for 7 years. So it's like every time I go somewhere, I make friends, and then I lose them, and it's like
Damn.
really devastating to me. And now I'm here, and I'm about to leave again. So it's just like I feel like I don't have enough time, so everything has to happen quickly. And about living here, like we came here for 2 years originally, so I was like, I'm not even making any friends, like it's not worth it.
Mm.
And then after 2 years, it was like, it's going to be 3 years. Like, fuck, now there's these people I know, and now I like them, so I guess they're my friends. But I'm
Mhm.
going to have to, like, start weaning myself off of them because we're leaving in a year. And then it just keeps increasing by year, and it's just, you know, making relationships in this unstable state of mind is really weird.
Yeah, I've had two are basically one examples I've seen. I've not like I've gone through personally, but like have been explained in detail, kind of like what you're saying. So I guess you would be like a fourth example. A first one, I'll say it's like the least impactful one, where I was going around downtown San Jose with a friend, and we come across like this like art museum. It was like a weird place where like not only it was showplacing art, but like you could also like just chill there. And then like if you went even farther back into like this empty like super store or whatever, you would see like these rooms, and like artists could like each artist had like their own cubicle and like did a different kind of art in the way like that was also an art piece. And I like talked to like the owner or the guy that's like in charge, like making sure like nobody sets the place on fire or whatever. And I was like, yeah, like what's up with this place? Like it's pretty cool. And he's like, yeah, you know, like this store was like running out of business, and then it was like, okay, so here's the place, it's up for rent, like it's super cheap. And then me and my friends were like, hey, yeah, let's like rent this place out for like 6 months, because like looks like this other company is going to come in and buy the place, but in that meantime we can like do a thing, right? And like so for a while we just, you know, like it was like a super small thing, like we barely did anything in here because like, oh, we're only gonna be here 6 months, we're not gonna make it like a super huge attachment. But you know, we knew that eventually down the line we wanted to have like our own store, and it could be like a thing, like a full realized dream. But for this, you know, maybe it'll be like a practice one or whatever.
Right, like a concept thing.
Yeah, like a concept thing. And then like all of a sudden, like the company that was gonna buy it, like I don't know if they backed off or they pushed the date like 6 more months, and they're like, oh, okay, we have more time. Damn, we've been like wasting this time then. And then like they're like, damn, he kept saying this thing like putting posters up. Like we didn't want to put any posters up because we knew we'd have to take them back down soon. And then the deadline for like this big company coming in and like gonna buy the place out, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. It kept getting pushed back, and so they're like, damn, we keep like thinking. And so like and then eventually he was like, so then finally we're like, yeah, no, we're just gonna go full force, like the thing we always wanted to do, we're gonna just start doing it right away. Like so now they don't feel bad about like, you know, putting up posters, right?
I think it's all about investment, right? Like you're afraid to invest so much of yourself or of anything into a thing that you know is going to end soon.
Yeah.
Like if you knew it was for 10 years.
Yeah.
Like it's weird because time is socially constructed, right?
Sure.
Time is fucking relative. But like we have these ideas about what's a short time and what's a long time.
Yeah.
And if I told you can stay here for 10 years, you'd be set. You're like, I'm good for life now. Right? Like I can have a family here because in 10 years, like how old are you? You're like 16. So in 10 years, you're going to start thinking about
18.
having family.
Yeah. But so here's the thing, when you say like 10 years, for me, there's this constant thought of like, you have 80 years and then that's it. And I'm like, shit, damn, heck, like I gotta like, boom, like get on this stuff. Like I have to like, gotta be making things happen. Like 80 years, like damn, that's like 80 times around the sun. I can count to 80, but I can't like.
You can't picture yourself there.
Well, here's the thing. I have like pictured myself on my deathbed before.
Oh yeah, me too many times. Sometimes I just wish that it was already my bed, but.
and with that thought, I kind of feel like there's like a weird existential thing where it's like, I wonder what my last thought is gonna be. You know, like not even my last words, but like what's the last thing that's gonna run through my mind, or like sometimes before I sleep, I try to remember like what the last memory I recalled was, and it's like what if it's like something stupid, or like, what does it matter if it's stupid? Like I don't know.
Did you
whatever.
know you can manipulate your memories?
Yeah, I did know that.
And
I think that's where imagination comes from for me.
Manipulating memories, no, because memories are stored, right, at some point, and then every time you remember
it, you make it, you change it. You change it.
And so by remembering things before you go to bed, you're changing them. And so, like, to me, that's exactly like there was this one thing that happened to me, and I really liked it. And then I thought about it a lot, right? So I remembered it a lot, and then I went to this class, and we learned about how memories are changed every time that you remember. And then I tried to remember the memory.
Yeah.
And then I like examined it. It's like, what are the things that I added to it?
And
Or because you add and forget depending on circumstances, right? And then and nobody knows now.
There's no way to tell.
Because it was something that was super special to me, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully somebody who doesn't remember it as often would remember it more accurately.
Yeah, but then it's like if you don't use it, you lose it.
Exactly.
Kind of thing. So it's like you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't.
Yep, we are screwed.
Just see, if it wasn't for like a whole like Black Mirror thing going on, I'd love to have like a camera lens in my eye.
I wouldn't.
No?
No, I like technology, and I'm all for progress in almost everything.
Just
But-
personally, like if it was a Tony Stark thing, like only I had it. It was just for me.
No.
No? Okay, keep going.
No, you can't have it.
I just wanted to clarify.
But there are some things like I really like that we can change our memories. I really like that we can that we can make ourselves think differently. I really like that we can kind of lose the record of things because we are not machines. Like, I think we are more perfect than machines in the sense that we construct our realities by ourselves. We don't rely on accuracy. We rely on feeling
Emotion?
and more complex things.
Nah, I think you're jealous. I think you're jealous of machines.
No.
You're jealous of machine.
Okay, so if so for example there was an incident, right, on Thursday, and somebody shot at a library. None of us saw it. We can only imagine, and we can imagine it in the worst possible way or in the best possible way.
And that helps
And we
us.
have the ability to do that. It helps us.
But what about all those people that imagine it in the worst possible way and then they get all
That's
crazy?
on them.
See, survival of the fittest. This is what I'm saying.
No.
See?
No, because I think that those people who imagine the worst, and then it's going to lead to some consequences in their lives. Like, we should provide support for them.
But I don't think it's like these people are like the mentally ill. I think like the people who do imagine like the worst.
But I don't think that only mentally ill people need support.
But how are people who like aren't clear in the fact that they are? No, like, because I can imagine like my mom, like or like anybody's mom. I don't know why I imagine a mom. Because I don't know, a caring figure, Western
Because
society.
you're talking with me.
Does that? Sure. No. Of being like, oh my god, I bet they were shooting with the rocket launcher, and it's like, what? No, and it's like that person's not gonna be like, you know, someone's not gonna pull them aside and be like, you need help, like you should go to a thing, unless you want to make like a really like push the field of like psychology, and so that would be like a lot of psychologists for everyone.
I think that counseling is healthy for
everyone,
even the healthiest person.
Yeah, I think everyone needs a therapist too.
Because that's exactly what I meant, right? Like, if you're this worried, like, you know, moms always say, I'm worried sick.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that is what is happening, you have a reaction, right, that's making you physically sick, then go talk to somebody who wasn't there.
Who wasn't there?
Yeah. Because I always feel like there's this group thing, right? Like, we're all now going to panic because we all were there. So if you talk to the person who was already there, even though they're not freaked out by you freaking out over what they had also seen, they can start freaking out.
But if you go to someone who wasn't
there, they're going to have a completely clean sheet, right? It's just going to start with, oh, so what happened again?
Yeah, and then you're like, well, I guess it was just, I wasn't even at the library, and I walked in, and then they're like, hey, somebody shot at it. And
See what
like,
I mean? So this
it puts you into perspective.
Yeah, I think that's just all we need, just like having contacts from everywhere, like just having people to talk to is important.
And then boom, social media with all its bubbles hurts that.
Yeah. I'm against it.
Damn. I downvote social media. I dislike it, but not like I hate it, but like I give it a dislike, like one dislike.
I don't use it.
I
don't use it because when I used to use Facebook, I used to like get really depressed.
Because you saw other people doing cool stuff.
not just that, like, and then there would be like more events popping up, and then you would have to like say
I'm
yes or
missing out.
no, and then it's just like I don't
Want to
know
Sorry.
yet, and now this has a deadline, and like everything seems to be a lot less organic.
on the internet.
And I'm just used to just like bumping into people and doing things.
Yeah,
and
that's how you live it. That's how you kick it.
Like I don't think that like in high school or even in college before I had like ever emailed somebody about plans. Plans were made in person.
Yeah, I mean, that's the change in the world right there.
Yeah, but I also think it's the spatial thing. People are a lot more spread out here.
Yeah, people have a lot more contacts.
Like you're from San Diego, right?
Yeah, I'm from San Diego.
And like you keep in touch with your people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have that. I keep in touch with people I can meet in person.
Why not?
Because it hurts my soul.
To talk with people you can't meet?
Yep.
I guess.
I want to hug my friends and have beer with them, and then just like have conversations that are not like, dear Yana, today I did something amazing.
Well, no, you can
because
have
you choose to do those things. Like you always put forward the best thing when you want to share something good, and the worst thing when you want to share something bad. But when you have this in-person contact, you can immediately read the person's face or whatever. You can have interaction that is not just verbal, and you can either like ease the person into thinking something else, or you can just you can change things. You can have this thing together, but when you're just communicating through written word, you can't have that.
There's a lot less going on. I do agree, but like I talk with my friends like every day, and we'll just talk about like anything. Like I was talking with a friend. It was like oh, I was at a bus stop, gave this man 75 cents. He gave me 2 granola bars, right? And then it was like, oh, bro, I wouldn't trust those granola bars. You know, like we're just like playing around.
Yeah,
and
I have that with people around here that don't live like necessarily next to me. Like these are interactions that I have with people over the phone or whatever. Also, but like people in Czech, I don't even talk to them ever.
Even when you're there?
It's a fucking 11-hour flight, man.
What? No, I mean like even when you're
when I'm there, like I haven't seen them. You know how you are, the people that you hang out with?
Ooh. Sure. Yeah.
So that is actually social theory that says that you like your person.
Tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Yeah, and it's not exactly like that, because what you are saying assumes that you choose people who are like you. But this is saying
I never thought about it like that, though,
that if I hang out with construction workers, I am going to learn to speak like them. I'm going to learn to have this similar worldview like them. And then I'm going to bring my own thing into this. And so it's going to change them also.
Yeah.
So we give each other these things, like language, certain things that we do with our bodies. Like I started doing other things with my hands than I used to do back home.
Mannerisms.
Yes, mannerisms.
I absorb people's mannerisms like a fucking sponge. It's nuts.
And then like people always think that since I had lived here for 7 years, I'm going to speak like a valley girl. But I can't do that, man. It's just so annoying.
Okay, that sounded like Jamaican, and that was weird.
Hey.
I can't do that, man. Like that's what you sounded like.
Oh, come on, Alex.
I'm sorry.
No,
yeah.
So my friends are not my friends anymore because we haven't interacted with the same people.
It's been forever.
It's been forever.
I mean, I think people are closer. I feel like there's a part in our I feel like there's a fundamental line that if you can imagine like a snake or a snake, I guess, pushing through a tube, or like I can't make an analogy, but I feel like each one of us, we're a blank slate, and then when we're born, like the first 5 years or whatever, like kind of form like this solid thing of like who we are and how we think, and then as we grow, it might like bend or shape, but like it's gonna be like more or less in the same like area, like the same radius. And other people like are in different radiuses, and I think when we hang out with people, it'll bend and it'll shift a little bit, but I don't think it'll drastically change, or like that, like it'll like completely like displace the pipe in a different spot like of who we are. And I think
don't
with
know.
my friends, like my friends hang out with drastically different people than I hang out with, but we can still like get along and talk about like how Lion King relates to Hamlet and like which one's better.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that I don't think that you're entirely right or wrong on that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think I want to believe that we each have our own core that is unchangeable.
Not unchangeable, but like imagine like a small like center of mass and then like a huge like light mass around it. You can like bend it and dent it and kind of push it, but like it's more or less gonna stay like in the same.
Yeah, no,
kinda
I think I want to
area.
believe that we each have our own person inside
Okay.
that nobody can change, right? Like we are all
Mhm.
our own good people in our own way.
Okay.
But and then there's just we change
And then
based on how we interact with other people,
Mhm.
but it doesn't change
who we are.
who we are.
Who we are.
Yeah, we are who we are.
But
But
But.
then like you know how it was like you have to like find your true self and shit? I don't believe in that. So like I
Yeah,
have these
no.
conflicting thoughts of like I think we have it, but I also don't think we can find it.
yeah, I think that's true too, because it's I saw this post on the super old meme app like when I was in middle school, and it said that the Japanese have a word for like kind of masks we wear, and it's like one mask you wear around your friends, one mask you wear around your family, and one mask you wear to yourself. And I was like, sure, that makes a lot of sense. So I'm gonna throw that away now, and I'm gonna take that analogy and say it's mine, because I don't know if that was true or not. I don't know, this super old meme sharing website, but I do feel like I am me when I hang out with like my family. Like it's
Mhm.
kind of me. I feel more like myself, whatever that means, when I'm with like my really close friends. And then like when I'm at work, I feel like myself too, but like in a different way. Like in each iteration, I feel like I am me, but I act like completely different.
We have many selves.
Yes.
It's another social theory.
Boom. Spit them out.
Damn.
Bam. Boom.
Yeah, we have many selves.
Mhm.
Because we need to always put forward the best self for the situation.
Okay, yeah. For each situation, we need to adapt
Yeah.
ourselves for the one that
Right.
fits it.
And so so we have these stages, right? We have a
Mhm.
front stage. And front stage is when you're at work and you're talking to your customers. That's your front stage. You have to perform something.
Okay.
You have to perform Alex at work. At home, often you feel like you can relax, but there are situations when you have to perform Alex at home, right? Like Alex at home probably doesn't like, I don't know if you're, like you don't, I don't know what are the things that you don't do at home. Like I cannot, for example, like when
Yeah.
I used to smoke, my mom knew I smoked, my mom smoked, but
Mhm.
at home we both performed non-smokers.
Hmm.
And it wasn't really lying because we all knew that we smoked. It's just something that you don't do at home and don't talk
Mhm.
about it in this context. Like home is for non-smokers. And so we were all non-smokers at home.
Hmm.
And then like I have a different stage when I talk to my boss
Yeah.
and then different stage when I talk to the people I work with. And it's the same
Yeah.
space, right? It's
Yeah.
the same office, but it's two different situations. And that those are two different selves. And then
Yeah.
there's this backstage thing that we do, like when we go to the bathroom and we
When you're
think
home
nobody
alone
can
and you play
see
some
us.
music and you're like rubbing
Yeah.
the vacuum back and forth and
Yeah.
you just start dancing. You're like twirling it like
Yeah.
a fucking mic
But I
stand.
feel like sometimes even when we are alone, we
Mhm.
have to sometimes perform. Like the things that I
Yes.
do when I'm at home by myself. Like I know I'm by myself
Uh-huh.
and nobody can see me, but there's always the possibility that somebody will catch a glimpse of me. And what if I am doing something? that
Oh,
I'm
I know
not-
what you're talking about.
You know, like this is me at
Yeah.
home, and that has its own rules.
There's this thing I always want to do where it's like I wanted to get on a boat and just go like so far out into the ocean I don't see anything but water, and then just like feel myself, not
I know what
physically.
you mean.
But yeah, did you know like I could do anything, like anything, and no one would know.
So you could also like just go on a hike and,
Nah,
and get
there's-
off the
what if
trail.
Google Pictures, like just Google Maps, just freeze frame that? You know, you never know.
Yeah.
Or like if
Same
there's someone
risk
else
with
just
the
like
ocean, man.
nah, because
Yeah.
in the ocean they have a thing. If it's not next to a coast, they just put like blue in Google Maps.
But you can see whales and stuff on Google Maps. Just saying. You're
Well,
not that safe
put
in
a
your
roof
boat.
over the boat or whatever. But like, I feel like when I'm at home or whatever, sometimes like, what if there's a fire? Somebody knocked down my door, and like that's when they see me or whatever.
Dude,
you
that's
know?
what
like,
my grandma always used to tell me when I would go snowboarding or skiing. She'd be like, you have to wear nice underwear. What if something happens to you and the doctor has to see you?
I've always heard stand-up comedy about that, and never like
Dude,
heard
this
anyone
is
actually
like
say that.
my family in a nutshell. What if something terrible happens to you? The worst thing in that situation would be if you had ugly underwear. And I'm like, I'm going to be bleeding and dying probably,
Yeah, you
so
think they
who
could be like,
cares?
"Oh,
And
man,
grandma's like,
ducks?"
no, you want to like keep appearances.
On your deathbed.
You want to wear fucking lingerie.
I mean that lingerie.
yeah,
Oh,
that's how I want to die.
Oh, she's been stabbed to the rib by a 4x4. Nice bralette, though.
Yes, that's what I want to have. Yeah, can this please be my death?
But yeah, I think that might stem from, I read this book and the author does a great job about like really putting the mindsets of his characters within the world that he's built.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this thing where it's like, if you're poor, the only thing you have is like a reputation,
Yeah.
right? And I'm not saying your grandma was poor or anything.
Yeah, she was.
Okay,
I mean, she is.
that helps
We
my
are.
argument. But I feel like probably like back then when you pretty much were only what people saw you, like now people can know about you and never have seen you,
Right.
right? But back then it's like, oh, do you know this person? It's like, no, I've never seen them. Like, that's it. You don't know about them because you've never seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've heard about someone talked around the town, but it's like, back then you'd know to like take everything with a grain of
Right.
salt. Now it's like, oh, there's a photo, there's proof, you know? So, but back then it's like, you really do always have to be putting on a stage, I think. But I think it's different now. I think everyone's kind of over it. I feel like people are over it.
Okay, why do people still dress the way they do? Like, I don't think they are.
People, I mean, like, you ever been to a Walmart recently?
No, because
They
I'm
don't-
against it.
I'm against it too, but I mean, listen, I'm a poor college student. I gotta go to Walmart
Yeah,
every
try
once in a while.
Target.
Target is pretentious Walmart, and I refuse to accept otherwise.
Okay.
But like people who go to like Walmart, like you've heard that people was like they dress
Oh,
like in
yeah.
slack, whatever.
Yeah,
I've seen
but
people
I
come
still
like
think-
in PJs to class.
Okay,
and
but
stuff.
that's your judgment, right? Like
Judgment.
but they think that they are doing the best they can.
I don't feel like people.
I don't. Okay,
think
so
that.
I have home clothes and other like
Yeah.
clothes, and so I don't think that you will ever see me wear leggings outside of the gym, right? But some people put on their leggings and they think like this is my best self for this situation.
Even the people that like specifically like wear like fluffy flip flops and then like the super baggy sweatpants with like the stains on it.
Because they specifically like dressed up for this situation. And so I'm not saying that all of them did, because I'm picturing some people that I doubt that ever put any thought in dressing themselves. But like when I'm taking care of the kids at home, I'm wearing certain clothes and I'm like my certain way, right?
Yeah.
And if I go to the store, I sometimes like even change my t-shirt because I feel like this is just not good enough, or I put on a bra or something. Like
When you're at home?
change that. I don't wear bra at home, but when I'm about to go to the store, like I think about like, can I go to the store like this? And
It's
then
like-
I change things about my clothes.
Is it self-respect?
To me it is.
Yeah, I feel
But
like
I think that like my grandma's underwear thing is just like it comes from the time when there was one doctor,
yeah.
and that same doctor will see you next time, and that's what they will remember about you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But like I grew up in a city that was already a big city, and there were a lot of doctors, and we didn't know the doctors. Like my
Yeah.
grandma went to the family doctor. Everybody
Knew the doctor.
knew the
crazy.
doctors, just like this one doctor per village thing. And yeah, so I never had the feeling that I should be ashamed of
Dress
like
up.
stains on my underwear.
So I feel like there's probably a line when like I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of somebody who would like wake up in the morning. It's like, I'm gonna do laundry anyways. I'm just gonna go to Walmart looking like this, right? I don't think it's a disrespect to themselves. Like I don't think they don't have self-respect, but I
don't
think it's
either.
yeah, no, but I think it's like they've sort of balanced this line that's like I don't care and I don't think anyone else will. Like I kind of understand that like I'm just like one person, like 7 billion. Like they'll just see me and be like, huh, and like that's it.
I think this is the American
Right.
individualism at its like best, right? Because you will
People
never
going to Walmart.
you will never see
Uh-huh.
anybody ever in Europe go to the store in pajamas ever.
Okay, why?
Because why would you want to do this to other people?
To other people, yes.
See?
Don't make me look at you.
But here,
Dressing like
here
that.
it's just like, it's me. Who cares? Like, it's me.
It's me, and this is
I have the
my story.
I have the right to dress up the way I want. I have First Amendment
I
rights.
was about to say first.
I have like whatever, and fuck you all around me. Oh, so what? I smell like shit. Like it's my smell. Yeah, and in Europe it's not like that. It's like
Yeah.
it's more. I feel still the same way around here. Like I have become a little bit more aware of how much people don't give a shit about me, but at home, like you go and you look at people, and some of them are ugly and smelly, but it's not because they want to be. It's just the way that like they still put effort into all of it,
Yeah.
and it was not for themselves, but it was so that other people
Wouldn't have to.
it's not to ease other people, it's more to protect themselves from stares and comments.
Yeah, maybe it's like a thing. Maybe it's like a normality kind of like in Europe, you would stand out if you did do the thing of like dressing down, right?
Yeah.
But here it's like 50-50 or like even
Yeah,
worse.
I mean, I think that here it is because people are not
I think it's like a
because everybody thinks of themselves as an individual and not as part of something.
I disagree with that. What I was gonna say is that I think it's a follower thing in the sense of like I think people was like other people like maybe like most of the people who go to Walmart dress like down are thinking like fine, yeah, I could do it, it's Walmart, right? People go to Walmart dressed down, it's okay for me to do it. Maybe that's why you only see it at Walmart.
I think that's
known for
always
that.
going to be a thing. I think
But like not Target or something.
yeah, I think it's no, have you been to Target? I mean, have you been
Target. It's
around
better.
here? Like I feel like around here
Mm-hmm.
in this area that like I can cover with my car, right? Like that's what here means.
Nice.
It's just like people don't care about what other people think about them. Right? So that's one thing. And then there's the other thing that you were saying, and that's that we have this follower thing, and it's true, we do. Like, but like which one of those things it is, I think it's a combination of both.
Well, sure, yeah. I'm not sure if the I'm me, I don't care what you think comes from an individual perspective. Because I think like the tribalism in America right now is like through the roof. I think it's like...
Well, the thing is that you have this like mentality of individualism, and it becomes this follower trend, right?
Yeah, even it's like people who hate mainstream things are mainstream
come
because
on.
their views are based on a mainstream.
Not even because they are based on the mainstream, but like as soon as you find another person who also likes that, you're not that special anymore.
Okay, wait, I feel like we've derailed or
my
something.
friend has this thing that he says about sociology, that it gives him comfort that he knows that there are many other people who have struggled with the same things.
Of understanding how we do.
So like for me, it's like my mom spent my entire life telling me how not special I am, while I was thinking that I am special, and for him it's just like I always felt like I am weird, aka special, but sociology gave me this thing of knowing that I'm just average, and it's great.
Wait, so his mom kept telling him he's not special.
No, he has super low self-esteem, and he thinks he's just the only one whose life sucks.
Okay.
So special in that way, right? But to me, I was like, I always thought like I'm the
Oh.
superstar and I'm better than everybody
what I thought
else.
he
And
was
my
saying.
mom like spent my entire life and be like, no, you're not that great. But like she was trying to
That's
make me think of myself as more average, and then
Yeah.
to me it's just like a
Wait,
huge offense.
This is the
because
same person? Or two different?
two different people. So I have
Okay.
a friend who has
Yeah. Low self-esteem.
yes, and who like spent his life searching for averageness.
Yeah, and then he found it with sociology where it's like,
Where
oh,
you
we
can see
all
other
don't.
all people, we all
We're
do this.
all messed up.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. And to me, it's just like, oh shit, other people are also like this. Damn.
Damn, there's more of me? That's
Exactly.
worse.
Yes.
But kind of comforting, I guess.
And except I don't want to meet them.
Yeah.
Can they please hang out at a different bar?
Yeah. And then there's the other friend that always thought they were special, and then they're like, damn, I'm average.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's me.
That's. I feel like I've gained some sort of. There's this thing that always happens in my mind where I can dissociate certain ideas that I know will hurt, like, unimportant philosophies. So, when I watch like a superhero movie, or not even a superhero movie, but like the show Sherlock Holmes, right, or like some sort of Tom Cruise movie, right? And
Small shoulders.
It's all shoulders and cheekbones.
I
But
don't like him.
Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Well, whatever, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is whatever, essentially. But like an action movie, right? And the action star is like super cool and competent or smart or whatever. I always like to put myself like whenever I'm just like doing a thing like by myself, or even if I'm in public, but like people can hear my thoughts, so it's okay if I think like I'm Sherlock Holmes, right? And I like, because I can hear like character, whatever. This is not important. Character voices a lot, but I always like to put myself in the shoes, and it's like, that's exactly what they're doing, right? It's like you're supposed to think, like when you watch a movie and there's like a main protagonist and it's like they're super cool, you're supposed to like be embedding your, like, that's me up there,
Mhm.
right? Like it's like a sort of like displacement of yourself to like, it makes you feel cool, right? And I'm like, there's a part of me that's like, dude, you're falling like so hard into that trap. And I'm like, no, because I know how to get out of it. Like I know I'm not Sherlock Holmes, so like I don't legitimately think that I'm like as smart as Sherlock Holmes or competent in a fight if I were to be in a fight. Like I know like I'll get my ass beat probably like 10 ways to Sunday if I were to fight like anyone remotely taller than me. Right? Just the reach alone.
Dude, I'm scared of short people.
They're fierce. No.
They have different center of gravity. I don't know how to handle it.
They were low to the ground. I can't trip them too well. No, but so like there's a thing in me, but I do like to imagine like I am like a superhero. So like there's a part of me that like likes to think it's like, you are special, Alex. Right?
Alex, you are special in your own damn way.
I'm special in my own way, just like everyone else in their own way.
Yes.
And in that way, we're the same.
Yeah, we are the same, really. I like the idea of thinking about everybody's being the same, because then, if we are all the same, then we have to like help each other.
Hey man, you're basically me. You gotta help me out.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I think it's a lot of conflicting ideas that I have right now. Like
Oh, that's me.
I am special and better than everybody else, but at the same time,
Yes.
we are all the same and we need to help each other.
No.
Why are people not helping me, even though I'm this special and I don't need anyone?
Yeah. I don't need anyone. Why aren't people helping me? I shouldn't have to ask for help. They should just be giving it to me,
Yes.
goddammit.
Yeah, because I think like that, right? I think I should help everybody. Why is everybody not helping me? It's just like this weird cycle of
Yeah.
awesomeness.
I feel like I have that too, like this weird sort of egotistical self. It's like, I genuinely think I'm the best. Not like at a certain thing, but like the way my
just in
brain
general.
works, I'm
Yeah.
like the best at it. The way, like this whole thinking thing,
I got it.
I do it the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's me. Man, if everyone was just like me, this world would just be, so
So my
smooth.
biggest beef with my husband is that he doesn't respond to me on time. Like I
Like in a
ask him a
conversation?
fucking stupid question, right? Like,
Uh-huh.
do you want coffee? And then he has to think about it, and I don't understand it.
Okay. I'm sure your husband's coming from a different place, but there's something my brother-in-law he hates that, like, so my sister has a husband, that's my brother-in-law, right? There's something that all of our family does that like he just like doesn't get, and like he like did research on it. It's like the illusion of choice, where it's like my brother will take 40 minutes at any restaurant deciding what to order.
Oh
And
my God.
And it's like, and it's the illusion of choice. Like, you think this choice matters, in 50 minutes you won't even remember the taste of the food.
I know.
Right? But like he,
I
like
know
my brother
it,
and
so
me
you know
too.
what
I'll
I do
it,
when
not as
I
much.
cannot decide what to eat at a restaurant?
Mhm.
Like either I decide immediately, I'm like, I want this piece of cow. And sometimes I just don't know, and everybody's like, are you ready? And then I would be like, no. But then I want the waitress to come, and I want to have the pressure of everybody ordering, and then I make my decision. Like, I hate waiting for people to decide what they want to eat. And so when I cannot decide,
Yeah.
I make myself be in a situation when I must decide now. And
Yeah.
but so yeah. But come on, like he always going to say yes to coffee. Why does it take him more than 3 seconds to answer? And 3 seconds is a lot of seconds.
Uh-huh. So the reason why I said I'm not sure if your husband would be coming from the same place as ours, because like, I don't, is your husband from America? No. Okay. So like in America, it's like one of like the gimmicks I'd say is like, hey, you have so many options. Like you want this kind of thing or that kind of thing, or like this
Oh
kind
my
of thing with a
God.
little bit of that.
That
And
reminds
we
me
think
when
it's-
Starbucks first
Uh-huh.
came to the train station in
Yeah.
Leiden. It was a pilot thing. There was no Starbucks anywhere else in the Netherlands. There was this one Starbucks at this train station.
Yeah.
The whole fucking country came there to get Starbucks coffee. And so like the first day when they opened, we stay in line for like ever. And then we finally make it to the barista. And they're like, what can I get you? And you're like, I don't fucking even know what you sell here. Give me some time to look over your things. And they're like, sure thing. And then
Yeah, seems good.
and then they just go, and you say, I just want actually regular coffee with some milk. And they're like, do you want venti,
Yeah.
grande, whatever sizes? And I'm like, I don't fucking know what that means. So you choose that one thing.
Yeah.
And I want milk. You want soy milk.
Yeah.
I want cow milk, whole milk. I want the milk.
Yeah. Like, listen, man, I'm not.
And then you say you want sugar, and they ask you how sweet you want it. And it's just like all these choices.
Yeah.
It bothers me.
And then I think in like in America, where it's kind of like we've like not some people. This is what I'm about to say isn't for everyone, but it's kind of like we've kind of figured like we've solved like our primary purpose of like, yo, are you alive right now? You got food? You got shelter? Right? Like that was all of humanity for like bajillions of years or whatever. And then all of a sudden we're like, yeah, I'm good. And then it's like, all right, what's next? What's our next like line that we have to like defend our tribe from? And it's like what we get at Starbucks. Like that's our line right now. And so like all of a sudden like we put way too much pressure on like what do I need to get? Like what food should I get? Like this is important.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like not important. It's not important at all. If we had a lion to actually fight, like after we get some Starbucks, it's like just give me some goddamn coffee with this and that. I don't care. Sure,
Yeah.
find that one, right? But since it's like the only decisions we like really like make of like these small like, ooh, what kind of lettuce do I want? You know, is like it's our biggest problem. So we put so much time and effort into it.
I think I disagree with you on this. I think that these things, they might not necessarily be meant to, but they do cover our bigger issues.
What covers our bigger
Like
issues?
we spend so much time of our day thinking about which milk we are going to put in which coffee and in which cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then we spend so much time thinking if we want sauce on our burger or not. And assembling all these unimportant, non-consequential things.
Yeah.
And then somewhere in between, then somebody says, oh, and by the way, we're going to be bombing Yemen. Right?
And then someone does care, and then they don't care about what kind of coffee they get.
Right. I think you cannot care about both. I think that, like,
Yeah.
even though brains are pretty amazing, we only have so much.
Care.
I don't think it's care. I think it's so much,
yeah.
like, attention.
Yeah. To give certain. Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like my friend
Yeah.
was saying that you have about, like,
Sorry.
100 capacity of 100 faces to remember.
Oh, okay.
And then when you start meeting more people,
Mm-hmm.
those faces start getting replaced. And I think that's what's happening with like issues that you care about. right? And then if you care about what milk you have in your coffee, what size your coffee is, what temperature, what you put on your burger,
If you memorize your latte.
You memorize all these things, and then like bombing Yemen is number 101, like it fades away so quickly.
Yeah.
And that's coming back to politics, right?
And social media, where it's
we have all these things that we are they're constantly blinking at us, trying to replace the old ingrained values and faces that we have, and they are succeeding at it. And that's why we have people who are not civically engaged at all times. They're only engaged when it starts blinking at them somewhere, and then maybe like soy milk is going to get pushed out eventually. But like I think that it shouldn't be that way. I think that civic engagement should be a number one value that we have.
Yes.
I mean, people always, not you and not a lot of people that I met here, but a lot of people, by here now I mean on campus. Here has many definitions.
Yeah, car range.
Car range, when but no, now I mean on campus.
Okay.
But I have met and talked to a lot of people who, when I bring this up and I say like our biggest value should be politics, and we should always be engaged in it, and we should understand it and at least know how it works.
Yeah.
In case that we really like need to, we can interject and have our way. People like tend to like try to deflect this and be like, but you have a family, why don't you want to take care of them? But to me, like, making their food choices and giving them the right organic diaper is secondary to giving them a future with political system that is sustainable. With Yemen. With
an
Yemen.
unbombed Yemen in
Yes.
it. Yeah. It's like yeah, I care about my family, but like they're not gonna I'm not gonna go run away to Yemen to like hold up the bombs.
Right, because I can do it from here.
You can do it from here, that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is something that I think has been also kind of politicians and people in power in general, they try to maintain power. So they are going to allow Starbucks to have shops on every corner because that is going to make people numb. They are going to allow McDonald's to have drive-thrus and all these things, right? Because that is numbing people to what they are doing. It is making people busy with other things, and then they can maintain their power this way.
Because nobody attends these civil engagement things, and then and then the voting numbers drop, and then whatever, and yada yada.
I think that, but we only care about voting numbers when we elect the president.
When we elect the president, yeah.
But like that's one.
There's a
person out of so many in government around, right? The government is this beautiful root system. And then we only care about the trunk, but we have so much more that is more important, right?
Yeah, it's the mayor is the one that's dropping the apples.
Yeah.
But so there's this there's this comedian Bill Burr, and I'm not sure if it was his skit, but he was like, man, if our like system only worked like 90% of the time, like if the lights just like went out like 10% of the time, I feel like a lot more people would be like, oh yeah, like I live in a world that's like a lot more complex than like the Starbucks line I'm in right now. Right? Yeah. Like we would pay attention more to like, we would realize how unimportant like those top 10 of like my favorite hamburger from College Junior and like Becky's Instagram post I have to like at 5 p.m. so it doesn't seem creepy, right? Like that, like it, like we realize like I should push that out of the way, you know? And then I think like right now, I haven't said this in a while, so I hope this idea keeps up. But like, I feel like we have it too easy right now. Like I feel like we need to make life harder for ourselves so we know which things are important.
But I think that our lives are hard. And they are hard because of all the choices we have to make. They are hard because all the things that we are told we have to worry about, right? Like, so when you wake up in the morning, what do you like do, right? You brush your teeth, you do all these morning things for yourself, and then you have to worry about traffic, or if your bus is going to come, then you have to worry about if somebody's going to attack you somewhere. Like,
and those are the exact order of the things I do.
Even though those are things that are extremely unlikely, those are things that you hear a lot. Like somebody's going to come and shoot me. Somebody's going to try to rob me. Somebody's going to try to cheat me out of something.
The biggest, most exciting.
But then when
threat.
you're sitting on the bus that has a giant ass billboard on it with a phone number for an injury lawyer that's going to help you get money out of an accident, you immediately think like, oh, I'm going to be in an accident and I have to like have insurance that's going to make me like not have to suffer with medical bills, and then all these things you worry about subconsciously all the time.
Okay.
So our lives are not easy. They're not simple.
They're very complex, but I think it's our fault. Like, it doesn't need to be this complex.
Well, again, it's civic engagement, right? Like, if we have
Where do
government
we start it?
that says, like, we organize, mobilize, and resist.
I mean, to tear the foundations right out from underneath a country, that's going to take a lot of organizing.
But
mobilizing.
is capitalism the foundation of the country?
What are the not Protestants? What are the people that the England kicked out? That people that the Puritans?
Yeah.
I think America's like defined on those values pretty much.
Well, they suck.
They suck. And I think it's pretty close to capitalists, where it's like, hey, I have this land. You want to know how I know it's mine? Because I drew a stick around it, and I'll shoot you if you try to say otherwise. Right? Like, I think like that's like maybe not number one backbone, but like that's pretty important vertebrae to the backbone that is America, I think. And so like, how do you take that? Like, that's a mindset. How do you destroy an idea? Like,
well, I think that destroying ideas is not the point. I think that coming up with better ideas that are going to be bigger, and
then you got to teach people, and then
education. Like, look at the education system in America, man. Yeah.
So I mean, like, it's got to be really, I don't know, precise and like very organized, like real mastermind kind of thing to like put an idea that would radically change all of society.
Come on. You don't need to mastermind.
But don't make it look like it's a like communism or socialism or a thing that people would be like.
Socialism is great.
You see, but a lot of people actually associate socialism with like they don't actually know what it means and they think it's a bad thing. Right? So, like, how do you introduce an idea under no categories or under no kind of title that would have a negative stigma?
I think what the problem there is that you're overthinking this. Like, you are trying to come up with a completely new thing, but you don't have to. You just have to redefine the old thing into what it actually is.
A bad thing? And then people will look for a new thing, and then you're like, I have the new thing, create a problem, and then give them the answer?
No. I mean, like, socialism is great. Okay. Like, let's start with there. Like, let's say that the two of us agree that socialism is great, that we need to care for community, we need to help each other, that we know that we cannot exist without society, so we need a healthy one, right?
That's good.
And so the two of us agree, so we need socialism. How do we convince people that socialism is the way to go? And you're saying we need to come up with a completely new idea that is not socialism, but it's like socialism, but it's not called that because people have negative connotations with that. Okay, so let's talk about how the queer community reclaimed the word queer.
Okay.
That used to be a slur, but the queer community was like, oh yeah, you want to call me a faggot? I'm a faggot.
Yeah.
What now? What do you have now? Right? So that's the same thing you do with socialism. I'm a socialist. What now?
See how
you're a dirty socialist. Yeah, I'm a dirty socialist.
That feels threatening. And then even then, like, I mean, I don't feel like that really changed. Like, somebody could still call someone a queer, like, in a mean way.
Yes, right? The thing is, you're not going to take away the idea of people trying to offend you. With the LGBTQ community, that is, at least, right? Yeah, people are always going to try to use this word to offend us, but it's our word. We call ourselves that. Fuck you. We are queer.
Yeah.
Right? So
I feel like it's different because like the LGBT community, it's like a personal
like the
thing.
Black community, they reclaimed their N-word, right? Like they did it.
Well, yeah.
And now you try to use it. You're racist. You try to tell a black person that they can't use it. You're a fucking racist.
But doesn't that make like that makes like a divide, right? Like a healthy divide that is warranted. But like to make a divide of like, yeah, I'm a socialist and you're not, like shouldn't.
No. That's not what I mean, though. I mean like just give the word different kind of power.
Okay.
Right now it has negative power. but like with the N-word, it has negative power only when white people say it. And then it has negative power against those white people.
Wait, because they said it?
The word that people used to use to,
to belittle
the entire group of people has been reclaimed by the community as an empowerment. And now if the white person uses it, they're the dick. Right?
Because majority though, right?
Majority of what?
Of like everyone else acknowledging that they're the dick, because otherwise if the minority was like literally minority and
it is literally a minority. There is only around like 20% of black people in America.
Okay, right, but most of Americans would like, they do view like a white person saying the N-word is bad.
But it's not because white people said that the N-word was bad. It's because black people started calling each other that. And then the whites were like, what? Oh.
Okay.
Like the word lost its power and then it gained a completely new power.
Of like, it's like a gun that shoots backwards?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that like if someone would be like, that's a socialist idea, and you're like, dude, how old are you?
It's a socialist idea. Yes, it is. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's the point. That's what I'm saying, bro.
Yeah,
what are you saying? You're saying it's
exactly
a bad thing? What are you from like the
1960s?
We need to get that sort of vibe into it.
Yeah, it kind of takes certain amount of strength to be able to do that, right? Because when somebody says, well, you're just like from communist country and like socialist, so you don't know what you're talking about, capitalism. and then I have to be like, excuse me, I come from a capitalist country. I was born under communism, but actually I was 4 in 89, and so I had lived most of my life in emerging capitalism, and I know what happens when capitalism is not implemented properly, and also I know what happens when it is implemented properly. It sucks. So let's talk about the socialism thing. And like you have to always, you don't want to fight other people's ideas. You want to show them other ideas.
Yeah, and then
so like for example, if you tell me that like that you are now a white supremacist and you want to like kick everybody who has ever migrated into this country out. And you're talking to me, I'm an immigrant, right?
Yeah.
And so you're going to be telling me about how this place has to stay pure because it was founded by white people, and look at the forefathers, whatever they're called. Founding fathers.
I was like, what's wrong with forefathers, right? But no, you keep going.
Immigrants. Immigrants. See, we don't know nothing.
Right. So,
and then I would be like, no, but I have the right to be here also, and you're wrong. Like, and then you can't do that, right? Because then you're always going to be like, look at these immigrants. They just want things. But if I say, yeah, fine, maybe I'm a dirty immigrant, but I'm also doing all these things that you need. You know, like don't engage in the conversation of how you're wrong. Show them how you're right.
That is okay. Your idea that you presented is such a big political move, and I'm relating it right now to a thing I read where it's like, if you're always say thank you instead of sorry, where it's like, instead of like, if let's say you're late to a meeting or something, you go, instead of saying like, oh, sorry, I'm late, if you say thank you for waiting for me, it already puts something in someone else's mind of like, oh, I was nice just now, wasn't I? For waiting for you, even though I was mad, but I looked like a dick because I was mad.
I think it's called a positive. Oh shit! I forgot, but it's something that people do in education, when as a punishment, they don't do punishment, they do positive. I forgot what it's called. It doesn't matter, but it's more like how would other people feel if you continue doing this? It's just more like dissolving the situation into this, like, we are here in one class. We teach socialism in our classrooms without even realizing it. But it's like, if you throw things, can other people learn? And then you internalize this thing, I'm a good person, and I'm here to learn. All of us are here to learn, and now I'm making it so other people can't learn. I have to stop doing that thing if I want to keep being the good person.
Yeah. I mean, they have to be a certain age at least to understand, like, what is it, the theory of mind? Or what is it called?
They don't have to understand shit, Alex.
Well, then how would they like, you're saying, like, you tell them a sentence. I feel like some kids it won't work because they'd be too young. Like,
okay, my youngest kid is 3 now, and she understands it.
Wow.
Like, she understands, like, I tell her, I'm like, Anna, If you keep screaming, we cannot watch the movie because we cannot hear it. What if
Okay.
Oscar screamed? You wouldn't be able to watch it. Like, you know, if you don't want to watch it, you can go do something else, but you cannot destroy our thing.
You say that last part?
Hmm?
You say that last part? Do you say what if Oscar screamed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, if
Yeah,
Oscar
that's
kept
good.
screaming when you want to watch your show, like, what would happen? And she would be like,
Smack him.
I wouldn't be able to hear it.
Okay.
Right? Like,
Hmm.
if Oscar screams, I can't hear. This is the very
Yeah.
simple, like, sentences that little kids use. And
Yeah.
especially, like, this is bad, but, like, this puts a lot of stress on kids when you start asking them these questions because they have to reevaluate who they are.
Oh, you got to break them down early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want them to do it themselves.
That's
You don't-
yeah. Because if you, this is so weird. That's a very small personal idea, and I'm gonna push it up to this big idea of like the phrase like you can't destroy a country from outside; it has to be from within or whatever.
Yeah.
Or it's a house.
House divided falls apart.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know.
It's a thing where it's like you have to you have to like destroy the idea behind an
Behind unity.
organization, and not like you can't like if. Oh, an empire toppled by its foes will rise again, but not one defeated from within, or something. I think that's the phrase. And so, like, it's the same thing with a person, where it's like, if you try to brute force yourself to another person to be like, no, you're wrong, this idea, it's mine, is right, they would be like, no, resistance.
Yes.
But if you like do some good old word magic, and you're like, no, it's your idea now.
No,
they'd be
I
like,
think that
"Damn."
you don't necessarily need to do that, like, because that sounds dirty, right? Because then anybody can do it.
Well, I feel like some
But
people
so
do
you
get.
know how people who
under the
believe
wrong
in
idea.
capitalism believe in a free market,
Yeah.
which we don't have, but everybody thinks we do.
I mean, I barely even know what those words mean, but
So free market means that
Mhm.
anybody can come and participate in the market. And good ideas, good business ideas are going to bring profit, and bad ideas are going to die because the people who had those bad ideas are going to go bankrupt, right? That's the
you
theory,
gotta
that's the economic theory.
define bad and good ideas. Because I mean, a bad idea.
The market
not-
defines them.
Yeah.
So right,
And well,
so
the market.
we're talking
Uh-huh.
economically, purely economically. We're not
Mhm.
making
No
any
morality.
value judgment on morality or
Yeah.
anything. My idea is that I'm going to start this chain restaurant. It's going to be called McDonald's.
Yeah.
We're going to sell shit food and exploit workers. That's my market idea. I'm going to go to the market, and because it's a free market, I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
allowed to build these things, and I'm going to be allowed to do all these things. And then if people go and buy my shit and I profit, then it was a good idea.
Yeah.
If people don't go and buy my shit and I am bankrupt, that's a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I'm off the market. That's the free market. That's all it is, right?
Yeah.
We don't have free market because, for example,
Mhm.
one of the entities that participate in our market are banks. And if government doesn't interfere in market, then banks cannot be bailed out, but they have been over and over again. So we don't have free market. Our government favors some ideas.
So a free market is a market that a government isn't involved in.
There's unregulated market, yes.
Okay. No, yeah. People argue for that.
Yes.
I mean, isn't the whole idea of taxes go against
That's
that?
different.
Okay.
But
Sure. I
but
mean,
people always argue that they don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah.
But if we didn't pay taxes, we wouldn't
This
be
would
sitting
a
here.
shithole. Yeah. All of America would look like trash without taxes.
Yeah. But so the free market
Yeah.
of ideas would be the
Mm.
same thing, right? You bring up an idea
The
and you
government
sort
shuts
it
down.
out in the market of ideas.
Okay.
But with ideas, you
Uh-huh.
cannot build a store and see if people come, but you can have a platform, which is the market,
mhm.
where you say,
Marketplace.
this is my idea, hear me.
Uh-huh.
And people who come around
We'll
hear
build it up
you,
or
and then they
break some
either
parts
stay or
down.
leave, right? And so you're
Mhm.
trying to build up this movement of people who believe in your idea.
Okay.
And that's what you want. You don't want to go and kill somebody else's idea physically. You just
Yeah.
want to grow base for your idea until eventually the idea that you think is bad dies.
You take its customers in a sense
Yeah.
away.
Yes.
I mean, it's not like so. Your idea has to be more beneficial for the customers, because the customers are only going to go to
Ideally.
whichever idea they see immediate benefits from.
Exactly.
And what a societal.
So I think you're underestimating your customers. I think we have a lot of customers who can understand long-term benefits if they are properly explained.
There's not that many dumb people out there.
I mean,
When I
there's
think of-
dumb everywhere, right?
Yeah.
But there's dumb and dumb. Like, I think that a lot of people can understand that. A lot of people can understand taxes,
Mhm.
right? A lot of people understand that they must pay taxes, otherwise there will be no roads.
Yeah.
The problem with our tax system is that regular people working to lower middle class,
Yeah.
pay a lot of taxes and they don't see a lot of benefits
Mm-hmm.
because the portion of their income that goes to the government is not reflected by the quality of services that they are receiving.
Sure.
And it is
Mhm.
because not everybody's paying their fair share. Because
Could
people who make gajillions of money
don't pay.
don't pay taxes.
Oh. Okay. So is the taxes thing like we have to do it at everyone? Because if we only do it for some people, then it's like we have to start defining boundaries, and then like that will turn like racist or classist like real fast. So it's got to be for everyone. But then but like it's really for the people who make the big bucks. But then the big bucks people like find loopholes and put all their money through Ireland or whatever, and then it's like, oh, we made no money, ha ha.
Yeah, like for example,
Amazon.
I think Amazon pays zero in taxes.
Yeah.
Because they,
right. Yeah.
they don't
I think
make
I've heard
profit,
that too.
right? And so because they claim no profit.
Yeah.
And
But,
so I had this argument with a colleague of mine, and he was he's saying, yeah, but like Jeff Bezos like busted his ass, and I was like, maybe at the beginning, but is he still busting his ass? Like, really? How much money does this guy have, and why is he not paying any taxes?
Yeah.
He worked hard, do you not like
Yeah.
Amazon? And I said, no, I don't like Amazon. I enjoy the service that they provide, but I also pay for it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. There you go.
I pay for
Yeah.
it, right? Okay, then make Amazon Prime more expensive and pay taxes. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Pay your workers, let them pee.
Yeah. Not have to run 14 miles every day.
I mean, I think that the problem with this is like we want everything
Yeah.
cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, but I think that a lot of people, if they knew the actual effects of the cheap, like the price of the lower price, that's well known to people like me and maybe you, because we're interested in that. We are in college. Not that many people have access to this information.
Interesting. I feel, I mean, at first, like when your sentence was starting out, basically just now, I felt like, I don't know, I feel like people do know and don't care, but I guess, I mean, I don't know everyone else. Like the media I consume is very much within my own bubble of the things that I have like chosen and have liked,
Yes.
right? And I only get that back, and it's like, oh, I'm watching this. Everyone must be watching this.
And they are not.
They're not watching that, and they don't like for me to like someone not know like how bad it is for like Amazon workers is like, dude, you've been living under a rock. And it's like, nah, I watch a lot of stuff actually. I just don't watch what
Yeah.
you watch. And it's like, whoa, other people are different than me. That's crazy.
yeah, it is. I watched this
Mhm.
talk show, and they sometimes acknowledge that they're just like, because to me the talk show at this point is just like, duh, why are we even here? Like, I'm spending 2 hours of my life watching you telling me things I know.
Yeah.
But and then they sometimes say like, our viewers probably know, but for those who don't know, and then it's like, yeah, there are those who don't know, of course. Only 1 million people watches you, like,
Yeah.
and
And then
then
you have to remind yourself.
yeah, you have to remind yourself. You have to remind yourself, like, I do research on education and
Mhm.
race, and like, you have to remind yourself how many people don't even finish high school,
Yeah.
and they have access to internet and things like that.
But they're not gonna.
But how are they going to know to look for these things?
Yeah. I mean,
is
it's
another
hard to
thing.
know what you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes it's easy, but I feel like the radius of the things we know that we don't know compared to the radius of the things we don't even know that we don't know is very, the ratio between those two is very large.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, if you don't graduate high school, or like you come to a different country and don't even speak the language or something,
Right.
it's like the realm of things you don't even know that you don't know is going to be through the roof.
Yeah, and then there's another thing of like knowing that you don't know certain things, and then having the time and energy to find out, right? Like, so there are people who it takes a lot of time
Yeah.
to be poor,
Huh.
That has always been a thing that I had to explain to my husband, because my husband comes from a wealthy family.
It takes time to be poor coming from a wealthy place to go to a
No,
poor place?
no. I mean, like, physically every day it takes a lot of time to survive if you don't have money. Because you have
okay.
to spend so much time trying to make sure that you can live the
when
next
you're
day.
in poverty, it takes a lot of your time because of the struggles of poverty.
Yes.
Okay. It sounded
So yeah, I know it is a
Yeah.
it's kind of an easy concept but difficult to kind of name.
Yeah.
Because like, so I had followed homeless person around to see what do the homeless do the whole day.
Yeah, sure. But you have? Like,
I
really?
have.
Nice.
And so what was the routine in a nutshell was wake up in the morning, make sure that my body works properly. So if for her that was smoking and drinking coffee, taking in some sugar,
Okay.
making sure that she can talk, that she can walk. She had problems with her legs, so she had to walk around her camp for a while. Next thing was get water. So she had to walk somewhere where she could get drinking water. And then she had to walk to another place where she had to meet some people so that she could make some money. Then she did the thing that she did for making the money. That took about 3 hours. Then she had to walk to another place where she waited in line to get food, but she couldn't take the food away with her, so she could only eat there. Then she had to walk to another place where she could get groceries. And then she had to get some things for her cat. So she was looking for money to buy the food for the cat. So she begged for a while. And then she would go find some food for herself again. And she would go to get the cat food, and it was night.
Yeah.
And she hasn't really done anything productive,
Yeah.
but she was able to get what she needed.
She got food and cat food.
Right.
And that's the whole day. That's what
Yeah,
spent
and
her whole
she
day
made a
doing.
little bit of money by
Yeah.
picking up trash. So it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it takes, and then if you're a person with a house, with a home, like you have to take care of the home. But
Yeah.
because you're poor, you have to keep everything. What if you need it later? So your house becomes a storage. And you have to constantly reshuffle all the things. You cannot throw anything away. If you have old clothes, you have to remake them into something else.
Yeah.
And you have to be resourceful in this way. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And then people say that poor people are lazy and they just want handouts. But they are busy all the time,
Yeah.
just surviving. Just surviving here. Don't mind me.
Yes. Yeah. Making my way downtown.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
This has been great.
This is great. It's been great talking with you.
Let's do
All
it
right.
again.
That's yeah. It's definitely. I like to, it's probably. I was thinking like a rotating co-host, but like this is good chemistry right there. This is great.
I think next time we should pick a topic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like we kind of orbited around one topic.
we
kind of the
did,
same vibe.
but I think we did a great job at that. I think we're special.
That's great. That's where I was about to say, like, the content just got real meta, and I don't think that's really good, like, good ear juice. But I'm going to go ahead and end this.
Yep.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening.